Hello everyone, this is Neurotics doing another tutorial for ExtremeHardware.net. What we're going to be doing today is installing a dual boot Windows 11 and Linux Mint 22 system. So this depends on is that you already have Windows 11 or really any version of Windows will work. You already have that installed, and you also have a bootable USB flash stick with Linux Mint 22 on it, which I just showed how to make in another tutorial. So the problem is if you go to just install Linux Mint, all it's going to do is give you the option to overwrite your Windows partition and to reformat the whole drive. It will not, sometimes it will allow you to install next to Windows, but that's pretty rare. When it does, you don't know what's going to be doing. So we're going to be doing this the old school proper way, which is to go to Administration and Gparted. And Gparted is a partitioning tool. So there's two partitions here that are important. There's Dev SDA4, which is our Windows data partition, the partition that pretty much all of the data in Windows is taking up. Then we also have EFI system partition, FAT32 100 megabyte. That's our EFI boot drive that we're going to be using. Now what we're going to do is we're going to resize this partition, the main Windows partition. We're going to click resize move, and then I'm going to make it 41 gigabyte and resize it. Now this is where things get kind of shifty or dangerous, alright? So basically the data in use on your Windows partition shows up in yellow. The white space is free space. You want to make absolutely certain that when you're doing this, you are not overwriting any data on your Windows partition. So you can see clearly there's the white and the yellow. You want to, if you're formatting it, you want to basically have a lot of padded space there, like a lot of extra free space on the drive. So Linux doesn't need very much data, thankfully. So now what we're going to do is here we're going to right click and go to New, and we're going to do just the defaults, ext4 and primary partition and add. And then what we're going to do, and this is the point of no return, so make sure you're not seeing all yellow for your Windows partition. This is the point of no return. We're going to apply all operations by selecting the checkbox. And now we'll have two separate partitions. There will be one for Windows that Windows is already on, and then there will be one for Linux. Okay, we're done. And we'll let it reload. Okay, it's safe to close out of this now, and be aware, none of those operations that I just did when I applied them are reversible. So you got to be absolutely sure that you don't overwrite any data on your Windows partition and that you have enough free space on your Windows partition. So now we're going to go to install Linux Mint. It's going to ask us for our language, key layout, and multimedia codecs, install multimedia codecs. We want to do that because they are necessary for playing videos as well as for playing MP3s if you have any. They're closed source, so that's why you have to check them. They're not open sourced. So now we have an option. It does say install Linux Mint alongside Windows Boot Manager. However, we're going to do it the advanced way by clicking something else and clicking continue. And this is going to go to the advanced installer. So device for bootloader installation, we want to be Windows Boot Manager. So it's SDA1 Windows Boot Manager, EFI. And then for our root drive, which is what your hard drive is called in Linux, your main file system in Linux is called the root partition. This we are going to click change, We're going to use it as ext4, and then we're going to, for mount point, you can see there's a couple things. For mount point, just do backslash, which is root. And we should be good to go. It's just saying that, oh, do you want to format the ext4 drive that you just made? It's already formatted. It's totally usable. Our one that we just made in Gparted. It asks you to pick a time zone. And then now it's going to ask for your login name. It'll automatically fill that in with your computer's name. If you use Samba or any Windows file sharing, that's what your work group name is going to be. Pick a username, Mint, fine with that. Password. Okay, and at this point, it's going to take forever to install Windows Mint alongside Windows. So I'm going to cut out here and come back later when it's done. Alright, so after some time, your installer will finish, and it will give you this message. And you can keep running the OS, the live OS, or you can restart. What we're going to do is restart. It'll say please remove the installation medium, so that means remove your flash stick. So I'm going to real quick do that in VirtualBox, and we're good. And then it says press enter. So what we're going to get, though it's small right now and I can't really make it bigger, there is what is called grub. So this allows you to pick between Linux Mint or Windows Boot Manager. And if you don't see this, then what you need to do is go into your BIOS. Go into your BIOS and go to, again, let me blow this up. Move it over a little. Go into your BIOS and go to the boot section of your BIOS, and it should show both Windows Boot Manager and Ubuntu. If Windows Boot Manager is on top, you need to go and click on or hit enter and move your bootloader up so that Ubuntu is at the top of the list. And that will give you this, and we can launch our system, but that's basically it for how to do this. I hope that you find this useful. I hope I did a good job with the guide. If you want to do like a dual boot of Linux Mint for folding at home, or for any other reason, for privacy, this is the way to properly install it the old school way. So that's about it, and I'm signing off.